At the back of our property, there's a fence that's been repaired multiple times. I think it's about time to rip everything up and replace it. Our bro also agrees because last year he got on the neighbor's place 4 times. So for a Christmas present last year, I asked for some help from my family.
Seriously? So Vic, do you like fence work?
Yeah.
Are you all for empowering women to do fence work?
Step 1 was to set up a temporary electric fence, and then we started taking out all the usable T-posts. I definitely appreciate the help with this part of the project. Now my youngest daughter is running the skid steer. We're going to use it to pull up the T-post. With the price of steel right now, these T-posts are definitely worth saving. Everything else I'll put in a couple piles, let the vegetation decompose, and then I'll take the scrap metal to our local scrapyard. This will be a very unenjoyable job without this machine. Now I'm marking where I want to drill holes for the H-braces that go at the ends of the fence. I'm using a homemade post hole digger that goes on the skid steer. Definitely makes this a much better job. We live in the Blackland Prairie part of Texas, named after this dark black clay that's pretty much everywhere. In the middle of July and August, it's pretty much as hard as a rock. Right now it's pretty soft because we have some winter moisture. Here's one of the posts for the ends. This is a place I need to build a water gap. So in preparation for that, I'm putting in some pretty heavy duty posts. I've found that there's pretty much no reason to pre-mix concrete for fence posts. I've tried to pull up posts that I've set in this manner, and it's often almost too much for the skid steer to pull up out of the ground. Gotta make sure everything is plumb. Even the fence way back in the back, I think, should look good. Though judging from my neighbors' places, sometimes they don't really think that way. That fuzzy stuff on the fence is just mud from me dragging the pipe to the back. Now I'm setting the post at the other end of the fence. After setting a post on each end, I'm now going to stretch a barbed wire from one end to the other.
What's up, Sadie?
I've got the wire temporarily tied to one end, and here I'm rolling the rest of the first run out. And I'm tying it off to the other end of the fence. Normally I'd tie off one end and roll it out and then stretch it, but I can't do that here because one end is on my neighbor's property and the other end is at this wet creek. So I can't get a tractor or a skid steer on the other side of the end post to tighten it up against. So instead I'm using the end post to pull against, and I'll do a second tie off to get rid of any slack. The fence wire will loosen up a little bit when I let off on the come along, but it's really not that much. And here is my favorite fence stretching tool. So now I will use this first run of wire to set the remaining post off of. Let's make sure everything stays in line. I'm installing a double H brace at each end, so I've got to set 2 more fence posts at each end. I'm using mostly 2 7/8 drill stem. After the posts are set, I measure the distance between them and I go back to my shop and I cut the horizontal pieces. I'm using a plasma cutter to make a coping cut at each end of the pipe. A little touch-up work on the cope with the plasma cutter, and then I'll get out the grinder and do a little bit more touch-up. The better the fit, the easier it'll be to weld up later. Our horizontal piece was just a little bit too short, but the come along comes to the rescue. I'm doing all the welding with 1/8 inch 70-18 rods with a Bobcat welder. I'm not the best vertical up welder with 70-18, but anytime I have a chance, I get some practice. Better to get practice back here where the results just need to be good enough instead of on a job where it's got to be perfect. Pipe is a little bit dirty, a little bit rusty, but I really haven't seen any difference between welding it like this and welding it clean. The whole time I had this audience watching me weld. Now I'm welding up the other end of the fence. I put the T-posts in with 12-foot spacing. I've seen other people put them a lot closer together, but I really don't see a need to do this. These are all reused T-posts that we pulled up in the beginning. This definitely saves some money on the project. I could have driven these in with the bucket of the skid steer. It would have been a 2-person job, and I really didn't want to wait. And I also figured that I might as well get some good shoulder work exercise, so I did it by hand. It took about an hour and a half, but it wasn't too bad. If you drive a T-post a little bit crooked, it's pretty easy to straighten it up once it's in the ground. About every 10 T-posts, I put in a pipe post. This is to help prevent my idiot bull from pushing the fence over.
Please subscribe.
Once I had all the posts in, I moved the first wire that I put in up to the top. If you put the wires in from the top down to the bottom, you get a lot less mess, a lot less tangles, just generally easier. The now top wire is fully stretched and tied off. And there's now 4 more wires to go. I have posted a previous video on how to stretch barbed wire, and I'll put a link in the description and at the top. So please check that out. Now that I got all 5 wires stretched, the family came back out and they're going to help me put the clips in. I'm pretty lucky to have a wife and 2 daughters that are willing to help their dad. I'm very blessed.
I found the most efficient way to do it.
Mom has not.
Really faintly in the background, you can hear them listening to music from The Greatest Showman. Not really my preferred work music, but hey, whatever. Whatever makes you happy. My herd is now back here checking out the new fence. I think the bull gives me his seal of approval. And these guys are happy just getting a few bites of green grass. Thanks for watching. If you're not already, please subscribe. Take care. God bless. Have a great day.